Hello everybody, welcome back to a new episode of Railway Empire 2. And I might as well start with the important thing, something I actually forgot to mention in the previous episode. But 1 week from now, maybe 8 days from now, I'm recording this even a little bit earlier, so 16 days from when I record it on the 12th. And never mind. On the 28th of October, which is a bit over a week from when this video is released, Railway Empire 2 heads into/to China. Which means we get a new map, new goods, new trains. Same thing when we had the release for the Balkans, India and Switzerland. So, nice part, I'm still playing on Europe. And in the meantime, we have the release of the Balkan area, Switzerland area, Indian area, and now we're getting China. So I'm basically 4 deals behind. Still, I'm having fun with this, so I will continue what I'm going to do, which is today we're going to travel along with the SNCF, or Société Nationale de Chemin de Fer Central Passenger Train, which is traveling from Nantes to Limoges, Clermont-Ferrand, Lyon and back. Wait, I think La Rochelle is there. So that's one thing. I'm still thinking to connect Limoges to Bordeaux, so we're going that way. Might as well have a look at it now. Rochelle passenger train to Bordeaux, because that way I'm able to connect to the south, getting this part done and eventually all the way that, because currently the route only goes along Toulouse and that part. So Bordeaux, this is passenger, and Rochelle passenger. And wherein is that way. And let's see, Bordeaux. I need to go this way, connect to him. Not that bad actually, but I'll move that one a little bit more to the outside and increase the heck. Game always is doing this. Starting with the bridge, then I like to implement the bridge and it goes in the other direction. speed things up a little bit. Bingo. No, not. Bingo. Okay. Build. Side is a lot easier. It also means I need to adjust the routing again of this train, but I've done that so often. It's coming somewhat natural. What I will do is checking where these two end up in Bordeaux. Because Bordeaux. If I put those at 3 and 4, so the mail service on 3, and the passenger service on 4, look at the amount of money that one's making. Then I can put the other ones at platform 1 and 2. So passenger on 4. And I was building. So let's continue the building. Somehow when I plan something it never never gets to the point what I actually want to do. There's always something coming up, which is a little bit of the unpredictability that, as odd it may sound, I actually like. Because in a way I like the things to be structured, especially when it comes to work. But at the same time, I do like some surprises, not all of them. Something breaking the pattern can be quite nice actually. On the other hand, I'm already aware this can happen. So in that regards, I'm not that worried. Fournier. I have to rebuild the parts from the start. In both directions even. And I might as well build the connection to this. Let me see. incline. Yeah, I know. Keep in mind that I still need to add the other tracks. These actually. And I better do it now, otherwise I run into a problem later. We've seen that happening quite often actually. So, not going to make that mistake. 39, that's quite slow. Ooh, lucky. Although one of my trains actually is removed now. Shoot. I don't like when that happens. Guess I have to go with the lowest speed after all. This way I have multiple platforms available for both routes, making it easier to actually split. Make it even more easy, if I simply swap what we have here. As in this. Now I've got 4 platforms available, 6 platforms available for both sides. The only thing I need to figure out, but that won't be too much of a problem, is how to set up the entire route. Given that the initial plan is to visit all the cities, I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. The other problem is I still need to deal with something else. This part. I'm going to do something else for a change. I don't know how this is going to work out. Or even if it is going to work out. Let's see what happens. I think my mouse is slowly dying again. doesn't want to do what I want it to do. Okay, it does, but it slows down terribly. Shoot. Curve. Which curve? That one? I was afraid of this. Demolish. I will do a little bit of track construction up to that point. Even that is not allowed. Well, I never can have the easy way. Now what? Let's hope. It does. I was about to say, let's hope I'm able to build this one. Well, I can, so problem solved. From here it goes to Porto. Now, that one. I also need to redo the mail tray now. Nantes, La Rochelle, Fournier of Guérin. Guérin, between La Rochelle and Bordeaux. And from Bordeaux back to La Rochelle. To Brun, etc., etc. Then once again La Rochelle to Bordeaux. To La Rochelle. To Bonnet. Yep, that's it. Confirm. Almost done. Central post, waiting for deployment. Well, that's actually nice, because that means this one is going to run the line immediately. And I'm not sure about the passenger train. Nantes, La Rochelle, Guérin, Bordeaux, La Rochelle, Limoges, Limoges, Rochelle. I think I let the other one stop at Fournier. Barcelona, sorry, Bordeaux, La Rochelle, La Rochelle, the place where in the Three Musketeers book from Alexandre Dumas, the Inquisitor Cardinal, I forgot his name, Richelieu I think it was, met Lady de Winter. So this is basically the harbour town located either in this part or that part of the bay. Just a little bit of history for those who think I know that name but can't figure out from what. Bonnet and Nantes. Okay. Shoot! Shoot, shoot, shoot. Right. Let's do it again. La Rochelle. Unier. Porto. This time I will confirm. La Rochelle. Then we come back. Clermont, Melun, Limoges, Rochelle. Unier. Bordeaux. So basically letting Rochelle, basically letting my trains, passenger trains, doing the maintenance on one station and my mail trains on another. That may free up some tracks for the other trains to pass on. Confirm. And now let's ride along. This may take some time with all the recalculations and stuff. That gives me some time to drink something. It's taking a lot of time with all the recalculations and stuff. There we are. See a lot of trains coming in. And a lot of passengers that wants to be coming with us. So, Nantes. First stop, La Rochelle. all this reconstructing simply because I had to deal with the mess the AI made. On the other hand, it's giving quite some nice railroad perspective, in my opinion anyway. You also need to adjust, really adjust to the map, meaning bridges, tunnels, all need to be built. Do I redesign everything? Do I have to adjust a few parts? All of that needs to be done. And eventually it works out. That's the biggest pleasure I have when things start to work out. So this part really gets things going. And what I like the most actually is how easy it is in this game not to get the gridirons done because those are automatic, but also for the switches. If I want to start or finish a switch at a certain point, I will be 100% certain that parallel track will start at the same point. That makes this game so much easier compared to Transport Fever. Because in Transport Fever it's always a guess, am I at the right spot? Am I at the same pixel distance from my start point as I was at the other one? This is somewhat ugly, but that could be caused by having to rebuild all the tracks. So I started building tracks, cut it off, we got a switch, then I picked it up where I cut it off later, built it, and we got a switch. Probably because one thing was built from left to right, the other from right to left. The switches are added automatic, which also means that distance will be calculated automatically. No pixel sensitive stuff. Or at least to a certain degree. This seems to work well. get a water supply soon. I thought, for a brief moment, that I saw something like a description on the weather station, which is leading to Barcelona. So this whole train is currently loaded up with passengers to Bordeaux and beyond. Bordeaux and a lot of Spanish cities. That's very steep. Surprisingly having not that many problems. Yes. Vegetables, okay. Cargo train coming. Mail train, if it even starts, it has to wait for him anyway. Logs and sugar. What I'm actually curious about, and maybe I should ask that once I visit a railway museum. If you work with steam, create pressure, that's the whole principle of a steam engine. You boil water, it needs to go out, and because of that pressure you move pistons, and because of that you can drive wheels which eventually drive the train. So, if you want to resupply the water, some way or another you need to remove that pressure. Otherwise you open the valve and the steam gets out straight into your face. And the last thing you want is having steam burst ending up in your face. How do they do that? There must be some sort of valve which they open up, so you let the steam out, actually release the pressure before you can open the hatch to refill the water. There's no other solution for it. But I've never seen that happen. In movies, a train stops, they pull the hose above the train and the water comes down inside it. So they never actually show how they do that. What they also don't show is how do you get that much water in the tank to resupply trains. I mean, in the Netherlands, when we have normal year, we have quite some rainfall, you can use that. But how did they do that in the Americas? Did they have special water trains with big tanks and then they used some sort of pump system actually refilled the tank into this resupply tank, or I'm curious how they did that. You never see that in games. But probably because it's making things too realistic. So we need an average speed of 45. Currently we are close to 40, so no express status yet. Hopefully we can make it up on other parts of the trip. Maintenance. On the other hand, it's quite nice to see all those trains moving in and up here. We loaded cattle, vegetables, so it looks like the warehouse is working well over here. Actually, I knew that, or I was expecting that to happen, because that's why I set it up the way I did, with multiple trains supplying items here, to make sure I always have a decent amount. Orange, Clermont-Ferrand, lots of apples. Warehouse 7 for Clermont-Ferrand, 2 for Montpellier, 2 for Marseille, 2 for Bordeaux, even for Marseille. And Bordeaux, and my train is leaving. The disadvantage of the warehouse is going to supply spots way beyond where things are actually heading to. And this is working. This is absolutely heading towards that 45 kilometers an hour average. So time we lost on the first part of this leg is being picked up, done on the second part of this leg. And on the third, and then on the fourth we lose a little bit again. technically I could get the TGV from Paris to Bordeaux in simulation right now. No, I did build. Okay. I think I have to add luxury passengers on this train route at some point. 49k? Ooh, that's nice. There's the mail train. So full load. Bit bad weather in northern part of France by the look of things. But I'm sure it's getting better over time. Nice part, this time we only have to zigzag, but we're not going to stop on various stations. We just slow down on the various pieces of track, which all have to do with the building. There's another mail train. So that's going well. Just thinking, with all these tight curves and things, transporting beer won't be, well, transporting the beer won't be a problem, but really don't want to open a pack the moment the train has stopped, because just like we have with the steam, all that shaking will release the carbonate, oxygen, CO2. There will be a lot of pressure on it. The last thing people wanted is to spoil beer. What should I do with all my money? Well, buying up industries, expanding industries for one. And probably adding some new trains and things like that. But I think in the end I will end up way over 800-900 million. I don't know what the financial limit is. Often in games like these, it's 999,999,999. Looking at this, get over 100 million, 1 billion. Maybe it's a bunch of nines more, so 999 billion. I've got about 80 years to go, something like that. But we're going to hit the 100,000 for sure. Nothing? The whole sea is gone. What the heck? We'll have to look at that later. We've got 5, including 16 last. Okay. 206 passengers. train should actually be able to pick up speed in this part. Let's see, we only had a profit of $1 million. Brake profits about 800,000. Passenger profit about 700,000. That makes 1.5. Mail slightly loss. Production loss 6.5 million. So we gained 2.2 million. All, yeah, 1.6. Okay. Breakdowns is going up, not good. Don't have to look at this. 12.5 on one stock. It's odd that I can't buy my own shares actually. Well, in this case I'm only able to buy 4 anyway. Not even 4, 3. That's not needed. We have. Wow. It's going up again. That remains similar for a while now. This is when I had her trains. So by then, April 7th, we had Wednesday. Yeah, that's various. Balance is going. No, it's going up again. Okay. But at 5.9, now at 5.1, so it's dropping. That's not good. 2 more cities for 100. Let's see if I'm able to achieve that one. Another bit, yeah, makes sense. Various travel time delays. It's not that bad actually, but it's still happening. That one's going up, that's the best. But industry is being a loss. Yeah, that's sort of making sense. I bought up a lot, I need to expand a lot. All that. Look at this. My mail train is standing next to me. Okay, een horloge. 66. Okay, he won. So 177 passengers heading to Clermont-Ferrand.